Hey, how you doing? It's Steve Brown from Trixter, Tokyo Motor Fest. Sometimes Danger, sometimes Def Leppard. I don't know what band I'm in, but I know that you are with Backstage Access, where the show begins and you hear things and see things you never thought you'd see before. Rock and roll.
Hey, this is KRIS with BackstageAxxess, and we are happy to have with us today guitarist extraordinaire Steve Brown from Trixter and a brand new exciting project called Tokyo Motor Fest. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to BackstageAxxess. How are you doing today?
Doing fabulous here in sunny New Jersey. We actually got a little bit of a heat wave coming through, so it's very, very nice way to spend President's Day. I'm sitting out on my deck getting some sun. It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. Put winter on hold for just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your new project, Tokyo Motor Fest with Ted Poley. How did this whole project come about?
Well, it came about, I think it was one of those things where it was meant to be. Ted and I have been friends for the better part of 30 years, and, Trixter and Danger grew up on the rock scene together, from both bands being from the East Coast, tri-state area, New York, New Jersey. And, it came about a year and a half ago. Serafino from Frontiers Records asked me, and he said, hey, would you like to do it? I'd love for you to do a CD with Ted. Would you want to do it? And I thought about it for about 30 seconds, and I said, of course. And then it came about, the next question was, well, who would you get to play drums and bass? And that was even easier because, Greg and Chuck Berge, Greg Smith and Chuck Berge have been dear friends of mine for a long time as well. And they played together in Rainbow and Joe and Turner Band, and Ted and Greg actually played together. Greg's played in Ted's solo band and whatnot, so it made perfect sense. And those guys, Chuck Berge lives in the next town over from me, so we hang out all the time, and it was just really easy, and it was like kind of like the sun, moon, and stars aligned.
Right.
And I made the call to each of the guys and said, hey, you into doing this? And everybody signed on immediately. It was just really effortless, and Tokyo Motor Fest was born.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the name of the band. Who came up with that? And is there a meaning behind that, or are we reading too much into it?
Totally reading too much into it, and you're believe me, I've been doing a lot of press about it, and that's the big thing. I'm a big believer, I think you know me. I do things. My attitude kind of is go big or go home.
Right.
I'm not a subtle type person from the way I perform to the way I write to the way I live life. So Tokyo Motor Fest, yeah, it actually came. The real story behind the name was Greg and I actually started something back in 2013, 2014. We were putting this band together, and it was a bunch of local guys, and we were going to try to do something, and I came up with a name then, and I always see it. I've always had, the different bands that I've had over the years, after Trixter, Throwing Rocks, so 40-Foot Ringo, Stereo Fallout. So I always have kind of, I have a notebook of song ideas, song titles, and I also, and my daughter, my 17-year-old, will attest to this, I always have this thing where I hear something, I go, that's a great name for a band. And it could be the stupidest thing in the world, or something like Tokyo Motor Fest. And when I came up with the name, it was just putting words together, and it just sounded cool. And everybody that I said, especially to Greg, he was like, dude, that's a great name for a band. Hold on to that. So as soon as this Frontiers project came together, I was like, I got the name. And I told Ted about it, and Ted was like, wow, I love it, but is it right for this kind of music? And I said, no, man, it's cool. First off, people will talk about it. People have been talking about it. And, our art guy over at Frontiers, Nello, came up with this amazing, badass logo. Like I tell people, to me, it's reminiscent of, a classic rock band name. You have the Beatles, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, Van Halen, and now the world has Tokyo Motor Fest. Makes perfect sense to me.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the record itself. You know, your great riffs, huge melodies. Tell us a little bit about the writing process. Did you and Ted kind of work together on the songs, or did you already have these ideas?
No. I wrote all the songs. I wrote, produced, engineered, mixed, did everything on the record. You know,
Okay.
in that sense. Yeah, I got the material together. Most of the songs are songs that I've had in my vault, as they say, in the vaults, in my private vault, because
Sure.
you know I have like a bank vault in my basement. That's a total joke, but the songs they were, and not to say that they're leftovers. They just were songs that haven't found a home yet.
Okay.
So the 11 songs that are on this record are songs that I've had, laying around, and they're phenomenal songs, but, they just weren't right for, let's say, the last two Trixter records or other projects that I've done. So when I got the group of songs together, I was, like, so happy because, first off, I think it's phenomenal, and when I sent them to the guys, everybody was blown away, because I think what's cool about the Tokyo Motor Fest CD, it's everything you'd expect from the four of us. It's got that Trixter, Danger, got a little bit of Rainbow, got a little bit, it has a little piece of every band we've ever been in and played with, but yet it has its own unique sound.
Sure.
It doesn't sound, it would have been very easy for me to write, let's say, a Trixter Danger records where, I could have just copied, let's do Naughty Naughty part 2, let's do Give It To Me Good part 2, and just giving everybody kind of what they expected. But what I think is cooler, there's some elements on the CD that you wouldn't expect, and that I think is what makes it special.
Right, absolutely. And it's an awesome record. Now, you mentioned you did the production, engineering, all of that. Do you enjoy handling all those other duties in the studio? Does it help your whole creative process as you're going through?
I do. I'm a huge, I have a great studio in my house, that I've had for, almost 25 years now that we've done. We started out back in 1995. We did the Trixter Undercovers record here. And, I love the whole aspect of engineering, producing, mixing, and, kind of being, I kind of like to say, I like to think of myself as like a mini Mutt Lange. Mutt Lange, who produced,
Right.
the Def Leppard records, is certainly one of my heroes. And so, that's definitely a part of the process that I love. Yet at some points it does drive me nuts, because when you wear that many hats and have that many responsibilities, other things definitely suffer because of it. But I think at the end of the day, the record's phenomenal and it sounds great. Fans are loving it. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of your guitar work on the album, because I'm a huge fan of your solos and how they just always seem like they're a perfect fit for your song. You're never just going in there to just wail away. It just, not that you can't, because you do, but it always has a perfect fit to the song. So take me through one of the solos on the album, like maybe You're My Revolution, because I really like that one a lot. And how do you
very, very cool. That's a very good choice. That one, as you can tell, I think obviously you're a guitar fan, I was definitely I went for a little Michael Schenker vibe on that with the guitar tone that I used on that, and I thought it was, it just worked magically. I have this pedal, this Rocktron pedal that's like an auto wah thing that I used, and it just completely, as soon as I kicked it in and started with that melody, it was like magic. And, the solos, what I always try to do is I kind of, I like solos that say something, and that's not just, pointless, licks, and, I always like to have a little bit of flash, a little bit of melody, and it's kind of a song within the song. I think the guitar solo, and, and being a fan, I think Eddie Van Halen did that, Randy Rhoads did that, Phil Collins, of course, did that, where you listen to, solo of You're My Revolution. It has something for every guitar fan. It's got melody, it's got speed, it's got some tapping, it's got some whammy bar. Pretty much it's like textbook, hard rock guitar playing.
Well, it's perfect, and I absolutely love that, especially on that song itself. Now, what about taking this out on tour? Is there any plans for Tokyo Motor Fest to hit the road?
We're talking about it. We certainly have, the one thing we have talked about is we've talked about what kind of show we're going to do, which will be really great for the fans because, we've already made the decision that it's going to be, we'll probably do half, probably 5 or 6 Tokyo Motor Fest songs, and then the rest of the show is going to be greatest hits of the bands we've been in. So you'll get some Danger, some Trixter, some Rainbow, some Ted Nugent, maybe some Alice Cooper, maybe even, Chuck's been playing with Billy Joel for the last, 15 years or whatever, so maybe we'll do a Billy Joel song.
Okay.
But, we're waiting. We were hoping to be on some festivals, some of the, the Frontiers Festival that's coming up, but it just didn't work out. So, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. I mean, we certainly want to do it, but the other problem that we run into is everybody's scheduling.
Right.
Everybody's playing in a bunch of different bands, and, for me, whether it's, Trixter or, I'm playing with Danger now. So between that and, and then the Def Leppard tour starts up, Chuck and Greg have their own things, and, it's hard to get, to pinpoint, when we could do something, but we all certainly want to do it, and like I said, we've talked about songs and talked about how we're going to do it, so I think at some point, you'll definitely see, I think, unlike most of these, so-called super groups,
right.
Which are just studio creations, we certainly want to play live.
Okay, that would be fantastic, especially the type of show that you're talking about doing. That would be a real treat for everyone. Now, what about Trixter? Can you give us an update on that? I see you've got some shows coming up with Dokken and Warrant this spring.
Yeah, we're, Trixter is, going on, doing our usual thing, our 15 to 20 shows a year. Of course, the last couple of years we've had 2 great records that the band put out, New Audio Machine and Human Era, which, I think are some of our best work that we've ever done. We just played our hometown gig, Teaneck, New Jersey, the Friday night. That went phenomenal. And, we got 4 shows coming up in March. We've got 2 in Texas. We're going to be in Houston and San Antonio in, I think, March 10th and 11th. And then we're going to be in Akron, Ohio, and Toledo, Ohio, March 24th and 25th.
Okay, nice. Any plans for another Trixter record coming out soon?
Right now, honestly, the output of material that I've had, in a short period of time, I think since, 2012, I've put out 3, now with the Tokyo Motor Fest, 3 full-length albums, and
right.
That's a lot. So, yeah, I don't, I really can't say.
Okay.
But I do know with Trixter, there's one, we have a lot of leftover songs that we never released, and I think, the last time PJ and I were talking about it, we were kind of thinking that might be a cool angle to go, is to, kind of go back and, we did that on the last record. Rockin' to the Edge of the Night on the last Trixter record was, a song from 1987 that for some reason never made the first album.
Right.
And we reworked it, revamped it, and, of course it was phenomenal, and now, phenomenal song, and now it's become part of the live show. So, there's a lot of songs that, like I said, we haven't released and properly recorded, so I think that might be the angle that we go to. But I would think so. I would think at some point. Definitely not this year, but
okay.
Next year we'll start working on the new CD.
Okay, great. Well, we've got this great, fantastic new record from Tokyo Motor Fest to tide us over, so that's cool, and we'll look forward to hopefully seeing this project hit the road, because that would be absolutely fantastic.
I agree with you. I agree, and let's keep hoping, and everybody go bug your promoters in the area. Bring Tokyo Motor Fest to the world.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us, Steve. We do appreciate it.
Okay, Chris. Thank you. I'll see you soon.